Hi, I'm Marissa Evans,
And I'm Madison Lee.
and this is our further oral assessment. Our further oral assessment aims to analyze the use and abuse of persuasive language in George Orwell's Animal Farm. We will first analyze two speeches from the text, one given by Old Major in the first half of the book, and several shorter ones given by Squealer in the second half. By comparing these two speeches, we can gauge how the pig's message and doctrine changed over time.
After text analysis, we will read a speech we wrote acting as speechwriters for a modern-day politician. By mimicking the style of Napoleon and the pigs in Orwell's novel, we hope to twist the politician's irresponsible and irrational actions into logical diplomatic moves.
In Animal Farm, Old Major was regarded by the other animals as the wise, know-all character whose dream kick-started the revolution. His political ideology was the utopian platform for Napoleon and Snowball to build off of. His character, ideas, and rhetoric are similar to Vladimir Lenin, who drove the Socialist Republic of Russia and was widely known as the champion of Marxist-Leninism. Old Major employs several tactics to rally the animals behind him. First, he starts his speech by describing the animals' deplorable living conditions and lack of food. He then contrasts the animals' suffering to the seeming abundance of the farm, thus uniting them behind him as a whole. Secondly, he identifies a common enemy as the root cause of hunger and overwork. This gives the animals a goal and effectively organizes their future rebellion, as they now know who and what they want to dispose of. Lastly, he uses emotional appeal. He asks Clover, the cows, and the chickens where their children have gone, thus using instinctual maternal instincts to rev up anger. He also returns quite often to the subject of death, graphically describing the death of beast by man, and by doing so, he creates a sense of fear in the animals, which motivates them to fight, if not to save their progeny, then to save themselves. Old Major is keenly aware of the fact that for the revolution to succeed, the animals must work together. This is evident throughout his speech. Though he does not overtly say that all animals are equal, it is heavily implied. For example, he uses the words we and our consistently. When speaking of animal labor and abuse, he does not just give one or two examples of those who were exploited by Farmer Jones. He lists every and all of the grievances any beast may have, unifying them in their misery and giving all of them a reason to fight for each other, because they have all suffered equally by the hand of man. This sense of equality is also important for the socialist state, comparable to that of 1920s Russia when Lenin was in power. That Old Major is trying to build as he again stresses its significance towards the end of his speech, saying that weak or strong, clever or simple, we are all brothers, all animals are equal. The second half of the book resembles Stalinist Russia, in which opposition was repressed through harsh propaganda and terror. Snowball's fall from grace is the turning point of the story, as he at least maintained a simulacrum of what Old Major had preached. From here on out, Napoleon, whose rise to power is reminiscent of Stalin, and the pigs, through Squealer, justify their increasingly dictatorial and human-like tactics by twisting the meanings of words and slogans that were once straightforward and simple. One of the most obvious changes in rhetoric from the beginning of the book towards the end is that the animals are no longer on an egalitarian platform. The pigs have obviously achieved their goal of leadership, which is reinforced with almost every word that Squealer, the pig's unofficial propaganda minister, says. He also reinforces the fact that leadership is a deep and heavy responsibility, thereby making it seem as though Napoleon and his squad of pigs sacrifice the most for the farm, as opposed to those who actually do productive work, like Boxer. Another tactic Squealer uses to confuse the animals is that of unnecessary complication. When asked why the pigs are allowed to sleep on beds, he dissected the meaning of the word bed to its bare bones, reducing it from the mattress with blankets and pillows that the pigs actually rested on to merely a place to sleep necessary for the pigs' brain work, which he explained as the heavy lifting the pigs did to keep the farm running smoothly. The nebulous definition of what pigs do to benefit the farm, as well as the use of more complex words such as tactic, which the common beast does not understand, kept the animals complacent and ignorant of the pigs' abuse of power. Conversely, Squealer also employs the use of simple propaganda to limit critical thought within the farm. The repeated use of the slogan, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, is somewhat of a catch-all for the pigs, for whenever the animals doubt their tactics, this motto is whipped out to prove the pigs' loyalty to the animal cause. At the end of the book, however, is where we see how much the pigs have truly dumbed down their doctrine to keep the non-pigs at a distance. If they do not know or understand the inner workings of the dictatorship the pigs have established, then they cannot fight against it. The only remaining commandment of all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, demonstrates how the pigs have changed the meaning of equal for their benefit. To the other animals, it may still seem that they are just as important as the pigs, thus ensuring that they hold on to their power unchallenged.
Thank you, everyone. Every day I am reminded of the greatness of this nation. Our resilience, our unity, and our national pride are why we are still one of the greatest powers on the world stage. Right now, however, that status is at stake. Both internal and external forces threaten our national stability. Who are they? What are they? Terrorists, for one. Ever since the 9/11 attacks, they've been pouring into our distinguished country like a disease. So when people continue to question why the immigration ban is necessary, I get a little angry. It is necessary because the families and individuals affected by the 9/11 attacks are still socially and economically impacted. It is necessary because since 9/11, there have been over 60 terrorist plots discovered in the US. It is necessary because the safety of our children, our future, is on the line. This ban will ensure that tragedies like the one during that fateful September will never befall the American people ever again. To further protect our citizens, I've begun funding the US-Mexico border wall. This does more than safeguard the American dream, it upholds it. We have suffered at the hands of foreigners. Just look at the century of subjugation Great Britain put us through. By allowing immigrants into our country, we allow them to harm us, to steal our jobs, and to destroy the American culture. By enabling this wall to be built, we will make America great again. Despite these egregious external threats, there is a far more treacherous one within American borders, the Sioux tribe at Standing Rock. Their objections against the Dakota Access Pipeline have caused U.S. citizens to pay unnecessary taxes and have endangered the lives of so many brave servicemen. They are a threat to our country's unity as a whole. So that begs the question, if they are not contributing to American empowerment, then why should they be allowed to stay on American soil? Friends, citizens, tonight I want you to ask yourselves if the welfare of an outsider or a volatile separatist is more important to you than that of your children and family. I will leave you with that. Thank you and good night. In our parody speech, we made use of several stylistic elements present in Orwell's novel. From Old Major's speech, we took the omnipresent theme of unity and incorporated it into our parody. We consistently used the words our, we, and American to convey a sense of fellowship, thus appealing to our target audience's nationalistic pride in hopes of persuading them to support the bans and walls. As these were sensitive subjects, we also took advantage of the emotional aspect of it by consistently referencing the safety of future generations, like Old Major did when he commented on the whereabouts of the offspring of several animals.
From Squealer's speeches, we emulated his use of complex language by using words such as egregious, treacherous, and separatist. This makes the speaker seem more intelligent and also reduces the chance of people questioning the speaker's methods, as they do not truly understand what is being said to them and can therefore only follow, not lead.
In this further oral activity, we have analyzed several speeches from George Orwell's Animal Farm in order to show how the pigs use language as a medium of obtaining power. We then wrote a speech justifying a politician's reckless actions, utilizing the same tactics that the pigs did in Orwell's novel to persuade their audience of the righteousness and loyalty to the revolutionary cause.
Both our and the pigs' abusive language are highlighted by the various speeches and showed just how effective words are as a weapon.